Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've had loads of info on various ship and vehicle features coming to Star Citizen, from physical damage to breaching ships to deeper scanning and lots more with the Star Citizen Live that featured the vehicle tech team. Let's take a look at what was talked about and summarise it with a bit more context where sensible. We'll go over the general topics and questions asked and then the sort of rough breakdown of the answers. What updates can you give us on physical damage, physicalized components, or any other interior sources of damage? The plan is to have all materials have their own stats, and then this to affect damage and projectiles penetrating them. But this will also take into account thickness and have projectiles pathing be important, so you could hit a ship clean and actually just go through the hull, and that would cause no damage to components potentially because there were no components there to hit, because you passed through a section of the hull. But you could also potentially blow off parts of the ship, and if there's nothing there that you hit, then it doesn't cause any potential damage. But also you could expose rooms and areas to space, and that would cause damage to all the atmosphere there. Titanium, aluminium, or made up future materials are all going to react differently to different types of damage. It touches a huge amount of teams working on the game as well, and it is quite a major undertaking. Art will effectively inform damage, so that would literally see parts of the hull being broken off and damaged, and parts of the hull missing, but that would also reflect in projectile being able to pass through that without taking any sort of like damage mitigation, because there's nothing there to actually stop it. Mass of these materials will affect the flight model as well. Potentially parts of ships could be ripped off from impacts, things like that. How's it going with the new cockpit experience, the buttons and MFDs, etc.? There are UI updates coming for ships, including new scanning, radar, and missile operator updates. You're going to see different UIs based on the manufacturer and individual ship, though. They are building towards having all buttons and switches in ships have animations associated with them, and the general cockpit experience of ships having logic and be pretty immersive. You can flick a switch, it does something. If you look at the dashboard, you would be able to potentially work out what was going on with the ship just by looking at where the switches are. You'd be able to map what it's doing. Obviously, if the ship hasn't got any power, they don't do anything, but that's sort of what's going on there. Vehicle content are working on this at the moment. The Gladius is the sort of first ship getting the treatment, but there is still more work needed. The basics of the tech are already built out though, and they just need to implement it further. How do you envision breaching to work? Will you be able to blow a hole in the armor to board? Will there be turret breaching? Entry points like doors or turrets will be able to be damaged, destroyed, or otherwise opened to allow for breaching, and entry points for sort of like marines and people to get on board. Physical damage in the future might allow damage and entry more freely potentially, so maybe you can blow literally a hole in the hull. Maybe you can break parts off ships and just enter there that's not just a door or a turret. The room and atmosphere system needs to be completed. They want vacuums to suck atmosphere out of the ship if you're exposed to vacuum, if you're exposed to space. They want working and sealing doors and airlocks. At the moment, rooms don't transfer gases and share atmosphere appropriately, but eventually when a door is opened between two rooms and corridors and all that sort of stuff, they will sort of like normalize gases between them and atmosphere between them. And obviously if you open up a door to space, well, that will try and normalize it, which means that a lot of space is getting into your ship and a lot of all your gases are getting out. So you're going to run out of oxygen, the atmosphere will go and be sucked out. Might see explosive decompressions, things like that. They want to hook up the system so that players can see exactly what's going on more appropriately with atmosphere and give warnings if all the oxygen's being sucked out, or you are in an atmosphere which is slowly losing oxygen because you're using it up and it's being replaced by carbon dioxide, that sort of stuff. There are life support systems that produce oxygen and good atmosphere, but that's actually done pretty slowly. You can still suffocate, but it also takes away the bad gases, those systems, like too much carbon dioxide, as I said. There are compressors on airlocks that switch the atmosphere in the room, sort of breathable to external environment. So you go into an airlock, it's now depressurized basically for space, and you can go out into there, or you come back from space, you go back in your airlock, it's now breathable, and it's sort of normalized that. They give an example of changing the compressor's oxygen as well, an atmosphere there, to toxic gas, and that could cause people to pass out on a ship, but it was more sort of like them just talking about, wouldn't it be cool if Or, oh, maybe this could happen. Scanning and radar. Where are we at? What are the goals? What are we pushing towards now? Scanning needs more work. They are making it easier to find and scan down entities, and then when you're closer, you'll be able to get a lot more information on that object. This is both ship and FPS scanning too. Ships will be scanning typically other ships, vehicles, minables, and the like. They want to show weapons, armor, cargo, life signs, obscure shielded areas, see vehicles in ships, see loads and loads of different data that you will be able to filter about any given ship. And you're going to be able to scan stations and other objects too. They first need to expand the system out so it can track more things and has all the data there, and then they want to have a good player experience for that as well. And they also want to unify a lot of this across all forms of scanning, but obviously all forms of scanning are going to be a bit different. Signatures are part of this, and more passive electronic warfare can be sort of seen here as well. So you've got sort of a cross-section, you've got IR, you've got EM. They're all catered for in the game at the moment, but they're expanding those out. And on foot, FPS-based scanning is also going to be using decibels, sound. You'll be able to hide in or near or behind other signatures. Formation flying will help obscure and blend signatures. Running around on foot, you might be detected if you're too noisy, but you also might be able to hide near noisy machinery. UIs are being developed to really convey this info to a meaningful standard. They sort of want all this meaningful data to get to your eyes in a good way and be able to filter it by group or whatever you want to see. We could see cargo specific scanners or biomedical scanners in the future, things like that. And if you are a big mining ship, you might not want to see all the smaller hand minables, so you'll be able to filter that stuff away. Are we going to get more door and light panels for all or most of the ships? It's defined for each ship. So the tech allows, that they've got in the game at the moment, any ship to make use of it in the same way that the Mercury Star Runner does. Some might have proximity sensors, and others might have lots of buttons and different types of control, and you might have a very similar sort of way that the Mercury Star Runner does it, but others not so much. It is going to depend on the ship. They can also control multiple doors and lights remotely, or from other panels if they want, and they have previously talked about security systems and permission systems that will be on ships, but they didn't specifically go down that rabbit hole and talk more about that, unfortunately, here. Ship and ship spawning! What is the next step? So, they had a prototype working in 2020 with the Starfarer and a rover being able to be attached to it and literally spawning with it. The main thing that was holding it back is that the player-facing way that we actually are able to spawn our ship in vehicle and ship, all that sort of jazz. So they don't want it to be messy or long-winded. They just want you to be able to go easy mode, bam. This is going to be in here. There are some technical challenges that they're working out, so how other people's vehicles react in your ship and how that's handled by the system. Does it count as you stealing it? Is it just there now? Does it take the ownership away from them? How is cargo and vehicles sort of like combined in a cargo hold worked out and handled? The cargo system needs to understand this. They are working on some bits for this now. Ship on ship, or the P-52 to Connie docking, is some of this tech in action, and obviously we're seeing this in 3.13. New cargo updates are coming with physical inventories in the future too, which will hopefully allow for this to be more widespread. Can we change the light colours in our ships? They've got a prototype of that, maybe in the future. They did sort of say it would be quite hard to do, and didn't sound like, oh, we're going to do that, but they did say they had a working prototype for it, but they prototype a lot of stuff. Any hope for landing cameras? Ship landing cameras are being talked about. We know that they're having a docking camera in the shorter term at least, so we might see belly cams and stuff like that in the future as well. The little drones that used to repair ships, are they coming back at some point? So repair needs a huge overhaul. They are going to have you like having welding and repair guns in the future though as well. We might see the little drones back in the future, maybe, but maybe not. There will be sensible systems for repair, and whatever way they do the repair, I suspect will be relatively immersive, or at least take time and sort of like shield the players away from anything that just spawns in. And that was it from that Star Citizen Live, but what did you think? Are you looking forward to deeper scanning and radar stuff? Are you a pirate that wants to be able to breach ships, or really likes the idea of breaching missions, wants to loot cargo from ships. What about the physical damage system and physicalized components? How far do you think they're away from that? Do you think we'll see it all this year, or at least some of it this year, or do you think it's far too far away? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm a massive NordVPN shill. Zin somehow represent shilling on the screen. In the current climate and modern digital age, you want your spaceships and internet browsing histories to remain yours and yours alone. I don't want some guy, let's call him Big Jake. I don't want Big Jake to see what I've been looking at. I don't want to even keep a record of what I've been looking at. No stealing my credit card infos. No, 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 no. NordVPN provides protection and anonymity, it makes you anonymous, and accessibility to the internet. And if you are looking for a VPN, consider it, because it's also cheap. Or use the links below for discounts and deals. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and March is no different. We're giving away a trio of ships, one each to 3 lucky winners. This month with a Origin 100i, 125A, and 135C, all with game packages. Zin, have them flying around screen. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win one of those is comment on any of my videos made throughout the month. More details down below in the description. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video, tickle the bell, whatever that means. It helps grow the channel and helps us make content more regularly. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button below the video. You'll get some exclusive content each month, as well as a badge and emotes to use in your comments. There's also Patreon and direct donation links too. It's all down in the description below. Click it, all of it. All of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great March and roll on Alpha 3.13. Say thanks for watching, Zin.
Thanks for watching, Zin.